All right. All right, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, folks. One quick check with AB. Are we good here? Let me just quickly get a heads up on a thumbs up on the AB. Are we good here? Are you guys able to see me and hear me? Hey, I am on. Hello. Mic works. Great. Great. Just gonna hope some more people join us. All right. We'll keep it short and crisp. You probably might have a few questions to ask. I have a few questions, common questions that people have always shot me around this time of the year. So we'll have one look at it. And yes, we're going to talk something about your roadmap to the 99th percentile. I usually say target on what you want. You know your dream aspirations. You know where you want to end up with. So you have a lot of plans around it. But then we are going to have subject to one idea saying like what is your foolproof method to crack quant. So that's going to be the idea. Aditya has a question. Aryaman has a question. So I'll get to these questions gradually, sooner than later. So what's your roadmap? What is it? So to begin with, there is this first question that we all have in our head. Is July too late to start your CAT quant? So for anyone who starts their preparation, if you start your preparation, or if you have bought a course, if you have started your full-length preparation, full-time preparation around this time, you would have seen a lot of people who started months ahead of you. But there is always this intimidation. Have I started late? Am I late here? Am I late to catch this bus? I tell people, better late than never. So you have started now. In fact, I'll go one pinch better and say, if you can put in a lot of commitment around this next 5 months, 150 days and odd, if you can do that, hey, this is where all of them start their serious preparation and you have come to the right point in time. So yes, the answer to begin with in a nutshell, 150 days, roughly 5 months and 150 days is definitely a beautiful spot to spend all your time on preparation and get it done. So I'm going to keep the answer very crisp. The answer is a yes. Undoubtedly yes. So peak focus window usually happens July to October. June to October, July to October is where your sweet spot is. You start with your mocks. Now there is a slight change in the strategy on how you prepare. If someone has started, if someone has started somewhere around January per se, now their strategy on learning, the way they prepare, the way they sit and execute their plans is a lot different from someone who starts their preparation in June, July. If you started in May, you are pretty much the same. May, April, pretty much you are in the same gate. Someone starting in September, October last year, to someone starting in April to July here, there is stark contrast in how you prepare. But still the answer is yes. I have seen people who start their prep in August, like have some basic idea about CAT, some preparation, spend all their time on preparation and then crack it. So there is a history of that. But June, July is definitely a spot. And yes, a lot of 99 percentilers also happen to be around from this time frame. So in concise form, July, you are never late. Even in August, I would say you are never late, but then there are terms and conditions attached to it. June, July is still a nice spot to begin your preparation. Right. Hey, Varsha, good evening. Funkar, Sri Hari. Yeah. So quickly, what should be your strategy in July? What should you do? Where should you, how to go around? Irrespective of where you start. If you have started last year, if you have started last month, if you started 3 months later, 3 months back, a month later, there is no change in your starting point, which will obviously be arithmetic and algebra. You start with arithmetic, I'll say that a million times. That is where it's going to be the beginning point. The start of your lap is always arithmetic. So do that. In July, you should have a target of completing at least 3 to 4 topics in arithmetic. That's enough. Weekly one. In fact, if you can get 5 topics in the back, that's great. 4 or 5 topics in July, it's a good spot to begin with. So cover arithmetic, then add on algebra to that, and then you have to put in I usually don't like giving numbers. I'm not someone who quantifies performance, but then a lot of people have this feeling when you give numbers it feels better for them. So in that case I'm going to say solve 20 to 30 questions. Now I will go to the extent of saying if you can put in effort and then confidently solve 15 questions, even that's a good number. There is no ballpark on how many questions should you solve to master a topic. There's nothing as such. You solve as many questions until you get comfortable. For someone it might be 50 questions. For someone it could be 20 questions. And those 20 questions pretty much they would cover every idea that is necessary in that topic. But then the ballpark is somewhere around 20 to 30 questions. And that's what I want to say. If you can solve that on a regular basis, and to do this, you would what? Probably take 2 hours, roughly 2.5 hours. And that is needed. You might have to spend somewhere around 4 hours a day from now, right? The usual number that we give is 450 hours. If you can commit 450 hours to this exam, you are through. So 450 hours in 150 days is roughly 3 hours. So there is always this back and forth that we go, we need a tolerance level. So I'm going to start with saying plan on 4 hours a day. The 3-4 hours a day is a must. There is no negotiations over there. If you can spend those 2.5 to 3 hours to 4 hours is where you begin with. If you are someone who cannot spend 3 hours on a regular basis, have targets on weekends. Have monthly targets rather than daily targets or weekly targets for that fact. You have any backlogs in the weekdays, push it to weekend. Now that's no brainer, right? If you are a working professional, you go at 9 o'clock, come back at 6 o'clock, you might not have the time to sit and spend 3 hours a day, which is understandable. In that case, you might have to push your preparation during weekend. Saturday, Sunday, you might have to commit to all those backlogs that you have. So if you can do that and do this regularly, that's already a good beginning point, right, in July. And then yes, this is very important. I'll get back to this again. Maintaining an error log is super important. A lot of people develop skills, get better because of this one point that they add in their arsenal. Maintaining an error log, super important. Have that. At some point you will start understanding the importance of having an error log. You will start finding a pattern. The repetitive pattern will tell you whether to dump a topic or modify your way at approaching the topic. So either of those decisions depend on knowing where your flaws are, knowing where your weaknesses. So that's important, right? Because a shorter question, I've completed quant syllabus at SSC CGL level. How much time will it take to transition to CAT level? Because we'll do that. I'm going to attack every question. Geet has asked 3 hours daily. I try to spend 1.5 hours on regular DPPs and 1.5 hours on full revision. Brilliant. What is an error log and how should we make it? Down the line, we are going to talk in detail about an error log. I'll tell you about it. All these questions, I'll go back. I have a bunch of things that we need to talk about. So we'll do that. And then we'll dedicatedly look at those questions, right? And then moving forward, how should you divide your time between concepts and practice? Now, there is something called a learning phase, and then there is something called a practice phase. What is learning? You look at something, and they all happen to be Greek and Latin to you. Either you have learnt it in your school, or you didn't learn it at all, or you have a vague memory of it, or you are partially comfortable with it. It doesn't matter where you stand. You learn a concept and it is super important that you go and practice it. Now, there is something called passive learning. A lot of times when I talk to people, I talk about passive learning. A lot of people have different names to it. What is passive learning? Simple. You might have witnessed and experienced this. When you attend a class, when you look at a concept and then you notice the teacher solving it, you'll be like, hey, this is dead easy. I've understood this. Oh, this looks so cool. Oh, this is so easy. You put it under that category saying that it's easy. And then weeks later only to realize that you don't remember that concept. Passive learning is nothing but you look at something, it makes it to be feel easy, and then you forget it. Nothing is learned until you put it on paper. Nothing is learned until you solve a question of that type on your paper, not by watching it. It's super important, right? So that's passive learning. So in a learning concept, I would usually say 50-50. Whatever you learn, you also practice it. But I want to put a 60% on concept building and 40% on active practice. Simply being some topics you learn and then only to realize that you want to dump it. There are a few topics. Let's say modern math, you will attend a class, you will practice some only to realize that you find it to be on the tricky end, or inequalities for that fact, or geometry. It could be anything. My recommendation always stands the same. No matter where you begin and how you begin, get all the basics right. Even the topics that you dump, at least to the level 1 questions, the basic level difficulty questions. For all you know, you might get a few questions from there. So cover all the basics. So you actively build concept over there, you build it, and then you partially practice it. That's why I call it 60-40 percentage. And yes, passive learning won't translate to performance. You learn something, just because you have learned something doesn't mean that you will perform well. Just because a nice example would be Harsha Bogle. Anyone who follows cricket will understand it. Harsha Bogle is a brilliant commentator and excellent, someone who is excellent when it comes to his articulation, and he cannot play the game. He doesn't play the sport. Just because he knows a lot of things about the sport doesn't mean that he will play brilliantly. And just because someone is a brilliant player might not turn out to be a great coach. So from one point to another, the transition needs some experience, some practice. Just because you are good at something doesn't mean that you will be good at on every aspect of it. Not necessary. So passive learning, try dumping it. Don't tell yourself, I've watched this video, I've learned this, I've practiced it. It doesn't mean that. It has to resonate on your paper. Remember that. Right. So this is one question that we often get. Mic is a little bit shaky. Okay. Are we still bad with that, Kavya? Pasha, I'll go with error log. I'll tell you what it is. Someone has already shot that question. I'll also do it. Right. Tanishka, I'm partially good at Hindi, but I am really sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to understand your question over there. So I would suggest, I request you to pose the same question in English. A bot problem with mic. Let me just change it. Are we still bad? Kavya says fine now. We'll try to wind up ASAP. Right. So you might have seen this. I see this in a class. Every time I go to a class, I do it. Students keep asking me this question. So I practiced 30 questions. I did DPPs. I did bunch of this questions, that questions. That's okay, Tanishka. That's okay. That's completely fine. I can understand it. But then I have this, I need to follow the fact that I stick with English. That's also a golden rule here that we follow, that in this channel we have to follow. I might be able to understand it, but my Hindi is very bad. Okay. My quant score isn't improving. So every time you say this, now this is a cycle, the vicious cycle that you need to be doing. A lot of times, I think someone spoke about this sometime back. Audit your error log. So what do I mean by error log? Now, errors, I can broadly classify them as, let's say, pace error or your calculations error. Or lack of practice. Now, let's understand this. If you have attempted a question, if you have put in effort to solve a question, you have spent 3 minutes on a question, and you arrived at an answer, and then it has gone wrong. Now, the first thing that I tell people is, if you have put in your heart to solve a question, spend 3 minutes on solving it, it means that in some part of your head, you have told yourself, this is a topic that I have learned, this is a type of question that I have solved. So let me attempt it. Right? You wouldn't attempt a question from a topic that you didn't even touch, will you? You won't even spend time with it. Right? But if you have spent time and there are like 5-6 steps on your paper and still you have gotten your answer wrong, it's either a pace error, like everything was right, everything. In an oversight, you made a wrong error, mistake, or you got the answer right. For example, if I have to give you a question, n is a value that you have to find. the question will say how many possible values of n exist. But then in some thought process, you did not read that question right. You found that largest value of n and then you answered it. Or the question will be like, what is the difference between the largest value and the smallest value of n? But then you would have counted all n's. One way or the other, in an oversight, that mistake happened. Right? For example, the question would have given ratio of A, B, A, B, A, B everywhere. In the question, it will be what is the ratio of B is to A. Now, since you have solved everything in A is to B format, out of nowhere, your mind says, I should also pick an answer in A is to B format. You will have 3 is to 2, you will have 2 is to 3 in the option. And then you choose 2 is to 3. Whereas the answer would have been 3 is to 2. These are all oversight errors, out of excitement, out of haste, out of panic. You panic, time constraint, all of this come together and you make this mistake. It's a pace error. Out of pace. Like you want to build a pace and then you make this mistake. Any given day, I've been writing this, I'll write it today again. Accuracy over speed. Any given day. There is no compromise. There is absolutely zero compromise on your accuracy. You don't give up on accuracy for the sake of pace. So that's a pace error. Like you want to finish off this question in time and then you make a mistake. Now these are questions that you can easily rectify. Like once you finish off the test and then you will know, hey, I knew this question, why did it come out wrong? When you analyze it, you will realize, oh, I made this mistake, this is a blunder. These are blunders that you can easily spot. Now if you have been doing this over and again, if you have been plotting all those errors, you made a mistake here, you made this mistake here, you have been doing this. When you look at it, you will start seeing a pattern. You will be able to work on it. That's one. Whereas if you look at a calculation error usually happens with a lack of practice or lack of time. Both. It falls into both category. This is lack of, like you know the idea concept clearly. You would have studied SICI from top to bottom and that question would be a piece of cake for you to solve, yet you would have made a mistake. That's fine. But here, you partially lack that knowledge and somewhere deep down you made a mistake. And then comes lack of practice. Like you thought you would be able to solve it, but then midway through you didn't know where to go. You are blindfolded, you are in the middle of the forest and you have no idea where to go. The lack of practice thing. Either those topics are topics that you need to dump or you need to work better. So splitting your errors, like distinguishing your errors into multiple platforms will give you some idea on what needs to be done. Like a lot of times, if I have to give you one real-time example, it would be combinatorics, like permutation combination. A lot of people dump combination permutation because of the fact that the topic is vast, the weightage is less. Some people still go ahead and do it. They give their shot, they try it and they see where it takes them. And in that moment, a lack of practice would lead them to somewhere. They would have spent 5 minutes and they would be nowhere near to their answer. That's lack of practice. If you can distinguish them, you can see those patterns over and again. If you see the same thing happening again and again, maybe you need to work better or you need to dump it at all for good. So the decisions, all those decisions is where you maintain an error log. What type of error do you keep making over and again? That's important. This is what we call it an error log. A lot of people have their formats. There is no standard format for maintaining an error log. This is all your feeling. What kind of mistake do you make? You know better than anyone else when it comes to your preparation. So pick a plan that works for you. That is all it is. Right. I'm going to quickly attack a few questions before moving on to the next 2 slides. Let me just walk through it. Give me a second. So let's quickly have a look at it. IMN started with asking, I solved DPP after a lecture for every subject. Should I practice PYQs immediately after it or incorporate it in my revision strategy? Please guide on a revision strategy. Aryaman, if you have been solving DPPs immediately after your class, that's a good beginning. I like that attitude. Save those PYQs for some time. If you want to if you really want to see how well you have performed, I'll talk about this in the next slide, a couple of slides. 2017 to 2020, all these papers, take those questions as PYQs practice, like timed or untimed depending on where you stand. So take them as practice to the latest 21 or 22. 25, 2025, 2024, 2023. 3 years papers has to be taken as full-time mocks. With a timer, without, like, you don't take question on question, you take a mock as it is. That's again no negotiations on that. These 9 papers needs to be taken as actual mocks. If you have time, if you have the bandwidth, 2022 and 2021 can be added. But if you are looking for a bigger sample space of questions, 2017 to 2022 you can take as practice questions. You want to save, you want to do it immediately, go for it, or give it some time. When you do a revision, 3 weeks later, when you do a revision, do a couple of basic tests and then go to PYQs and then see where it takes you. So you can do it immediately if you feel confident about it, or give it a 2 week, 3 week gap, do some basic revision on the topic and then go back. That would be recommended. Or you can save some of these papers as sectionals and then take them. The call is on you. Do you want to do it immediately? If you are taking it as a sectional, probably finish some 5 to 6 topics or finish one entire arithmetic, take a sectional, see if you are able to get your hands on all the arithmetic topics over there. And then add one more module, let's say algebra, and then look at the question. Now you have bigger sample space to look at. Like 14 questions now. Out of 14, how many questions can you even look at? Out of those questions that you have looked at, how many can you solve? So keep building on that strategy. It is a phased preparation, not one shot. You don't jump from point 0 to point 10. There are phased intervals that you do, right? Should I leave my job for CAT preparation, Aditya? Definitely no. Definitely no. Definitely no. My recommendation, when I'm very particular about it, again, it is my opinion, which is a fact. Like most of them would recommend you to not quit your job unless or until, if you can justify your gap year. If you are really looking at this another 2-3 months, my recommendation, 3 months, maybe 2 months before the exam, maybe yes, or take a break. If you really have the option to go and talk to your manager, ask them for a break of a month or 2 or whatever it is, take that. That's much more recommended than quitting. I am never a fan of taking a break from your career to prepare for an exam. Never been a fan of, never will be a fan of it. Never. I've completed quant syllabus at the SSC CGL level. How much time will it take to transition to CAT level? Because SSC level is something that's on a speed base. That's on speed building. You have already gotten your base correct. Now the transition will be more fundamental application than formula based and then memory based. Familiarity with questions is at SSC level, most of the questions are familiarity based. Like you need to be familiar about the pattern. Like they will give you one simplification stretch of an expression. The question will go like 36.25, the root of 36.25. In your head, you have to tell yourself the square root of 36.25 is roughly square root of 36, which is 6. That simplification will come automatically. So it's a pace, like a speed based exam. Now you are transitioning towards an exam where it has to be more of conceptually able. So you might have to the transition will be easy, but there is still some way to go. Just because you have cleared SSC level doesn't mean that we automatically become ready for other exams. You might have to spend some time, but yes, for someone who is starting from scratch and compared to you, you definitely have that edge because you have been putting some effort towards your calculation and every other aspect, right? And then quickly, I have a gap of 15 days in my preparation and today I resume my preparation from the same topic where I left. Is it okay? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Finish off your backlogs. Cover your backlogs. Just because you have jumped and then there is some other topic happening in your batch or in your class doesn't mean that you need to jump to it. It's okay. Try wrapping all those gaps, wherever gaps that you have left, try filling those gaps and then come back to this. Don't push yourself. Don't be in a hurry just because you have been left behind. Don't do that. Right. And Rudra, nice question. Yeah, you are asking a few questions about VARC. Me giving you inputs on VARC is the equivalent of Virat Kohli bowling or Jasprit Bumrah batting. Wrong person to ask. Or it is the similar scenario of asking Delhi Daredevils how to win an IPL cup. So bad person to come up with a question with, especially with VARC. I've done a few things on VARC, but then that's not my strong suit. That's not my forte to give you any ideas on. Any suggestion that I give you would be a personalized suggestion, might not be an actual fact. Right. I think I made some elaboration on error log. Yes. This is my biggest lie to myself. Kavya, what is your biggest lie? I didn't see your lie here. Sorry, I haven't seen your lie. I don't know where it is, but then yeah. Will you complete all the syllabus on quants on YouTube? I might be posting videos, but I'm not sure if the entire syllabus will be completed before CAT. We have been starting with a series, some basics to advanced series that's happening on YouTube. I've been posting videos on that. But entire syllabus before 2026 CAT, I doubt that. My CAT preparation was going good, Tanishka says. But today I got my college final exam timetable. Now how to manage both? Tanishka, hands down, your college exam first. Most of the times, people start panicking the moment they realize that they have to balance two things. It's tricky. I'm not going to deny it. It is challenging. Yes, it's a painful spot to be in. You are worried what to focus on. But trust me, focus on your exams. That's important. Once you finish it off, those 15-20 days, come back and cover all the backlogs as quickly as you can. Spend 5 hours, 6 hours a day for like a week or so. You will easily cover all your backlogs. There are people who spend 10 hours a day. They take break from everything. They do nothing. They spend 10 hours a day, a week, something like that. And then they prepare. I sometimes worry about those people because that's too much pressure on you. But I think 5-6 hours is definitely doable. 2-3 hours in the morning, 2-3 hours in the evening. Hands down, there is no pressure when you do that. The moment you switch to like 8-10 hours is where the problem starts coming. If you can give yourself breaks in between 2 hours in the morning, 2-3 hours in the afternoon, and then 2 hours in the evening, something like that, nice and good. But otherwise, don't pressurize yourself like 10 hours a day. It is doable, but it also comes with its cons. Like it does have its disadvantages. In my personal opinion, I am not a big fan of it. Right? Priyanka, I want to master arithmetic as of now. I cannot solve long or tough questions, sir. So can I do as I am solving tough? You want to master arithmetic, you cannot solve long or tough questions. It's okay. Hang on. Now, rather than learning those questions back and forth again, start taking your mocks. Start looking at PYQs. Look at the type of questions that's being repetitive. The type of questions that you can see over and over and over and again. And start learning those patterns rather than branching out a new pattern. For example, for the last few years, in the last 3 years, there has been this one particular question where it says two people start from opposite points, meet at some point and then take some hours and some hours. So the time taken for them to meet would be the square root of the product of their meeting times or destination reaching times. There's a formula to do that. That question has occurred thrice in the last 2 years, like in 6 papers. So there are a lot of such questions which has a pattern. You will see the familiarity over questions, start attacking them. Look at mocks and then PYQs. These are your best places to overcome any type of questions that you are not able to solve. You will be able to transition to what is need to be known, like what is to be known rather than let's know everything. Now is a time for smart decisions rather than hard-working decisions. I'm currently in the 3rd year, but I want to give CAT 2027. Is it okay? Absolutely okay. You are way ahead. You are looking at 2027. It's completely fine. Why worry about 2026? Give 2026 as an attempt. There's no attempt limit or age limit over here. Have a look at it. Get a feeling about what CAT is. And 2027, you can start focusing better. And one more question, sir. Can we complete the whole CAT preparation from YouTube or should we take paid batches? I was thinking to take after my college final exams. Is any batch to come in August? Tanishka, there are two parts to your question. Let me answer both questions. Do we have a batch starting in August? We have a batch starting in July. We are starting this in July. The first week of July, there's a batch starting. August, I might have to check with the team and see where we stand about that. So you can take that July batch and then come back in August and start doing your preparation. That's one thing. But the other part of the question, can you prepare for CAT whole preparation from YouTube and other like free material? 100% yes. 100% yes. If you can get your hands on the right resources, if you are patient enough to look for it, get your books, get some mocks. Mocks are again non-negotiables. You might have to get them. You cannot get free mocks everywhere. So you probably have to get the test series at least, the least. The preparation part, the learning part and all can happen with free resources. Hands down, that is possible. You can. But then that also depends on how well you are good when it comes to self-learning, self-paced. If you are a self-paced student, if you have the discipline to sit, if you don't want someone to come and tell you this is your class, this is your timings, if you can build that discipline all by yourself, you don't need a course. But then if you say I need some help, I might want to reach to people every now and then and ask them a few questions. Those places, of course, when you get a course from someone, it is a lot easier. My recommendation, I am old school. My recommendation is always learning from someone. That's my recommendation again. But if you say I have my discipline, I have my confidence on like with the limit, you can prepare for this all by yourself. So we have a batch starting in July. So you can jump onto that and see where it takes you. Right. What to use of practice questions from Quant? I've enrolled in the MBA Pioneer batch. Once the class gets over, that is where you go and practice. Those are your places to go and test how well you have learned something. You attend a class, you revisit the class, and then you go do DPPs, and it tells you how well you have learned it. And DPPs, for people who don't know DPPs, it's daily practice problems that we offer after class. So there will be 30 questions in it. If you can get your hands on 15 of them, you are already in a good spot to begin with. 12 to 15 questions immediately after class is a great spot. You cannot solve all 30 from the word go. Let's be honest, let's be practical here. You attend a class today, tomorrow morning you open DPP, 30 on 30 might happen. I hope it happens. But if it doesn't happen, don't be harsh on yourself. It's okay. Look at the solution, look at the text solution, the video or whatever it is, learn and then go back and practice it. My degree will be completed in May 2027. Am I eligible for CAT 2026? Absolutely. Yashika, yes. Yes, you can write CAT 2026. Kavya asks, feel like you are from South. For the people who are seeing me for the first time, I'm really sorry. I didn't have it on the presentation here. The name is Bhaskar. Bhaskar. That's how you spell my name. I happen to be from Chennai. I'm an out and out Chennai. I speak. My mother tongue happens to be this language called Tamil. So that's my language. I am an out and out South Indian. Yes. I'm currently in my third year BBA. Aduri asks, but I want to give CAT 2027. Is it okay? I don't understand. If you are talking about CAT 2026 and you telling me I don't have confidence, makes sense. I'm looking at CAT 2027. You are talking about some exam that's 18 months away. You can aram se sit and prepare for it now. There's nothing, there's zero pressure on you now. Absolutely zero pressure. Why worry about 2027? Start today. Start from basics. Start from the scratch. 2027 is definitely well within your reach. I'm saying for people, if you're starting today, even 2026 is within reach. And you guys are talking about 2027. Now you have lesser pressure than the folks who are appearing for 26. You have to remember that. Right? Hey Nagma, hello. Tanishka again asked, I want to join the paid batch after my college final exams. Okay, I think I answered that. I want to master arithmetic. Yeah, I think Priyanshu, I answered that question as well. Bhavesh is asking, I'm from Pioneer English batch. We are done with arithmetic and half algebra for 99%. Which further topic should I approach? Bhavesh, again, two options are presenting right in front of you. If you are a guy who is completely determined with, hey, I'm going to take my next module based on weightage, you might have to incline towards geometry. You have 3 questions coming from geometry every year. But then if you tell yourself, I'm in a learning phase, I might want to add a few more to my arsenal that will help me with my preparation, incline slightly towards number theory. It helps you with other types of questions, with DILR, undoubtedly, and it also gives you a question or two every now and then. It's also a good spot to be in. It depends on how you are thinking from now. Both topics are vast, obviously. Geometry being slightly more vast. You are looking at trigonometry, triangles, circles, polygons. You have a bunch of things. Number theory is more logical based part now. So it depends on where you want to be. Both are good spots to go for. It depends on what kind of a person you are. Right. Saurabh is asking, sometimes there's self-doubt. Saurabh, if you ever happen to sit in my class, you will hear me say that I doubt about my life. I'm 32 years old. I think I'm young enough to call myself young and old enough to be called old. I'm somewhere in the mid 30s now. So with that being said, I have doubts over a bunch of decisions that I take. No matter how good we get, no matter how well things go pan out, there is always this doubt in your head. Keep it aside, continue to do whatever you're doing. That is all I can tell you. I'm saying this out of my experience, the minimal experience that I have in my life. Keep them aside, focus on whatever you're doing. And I'm telling you, you're doing good. Right. I have decent sectional score, but in mock the marks consistently low. But when I study or practice, it's easy. Vedant, that's what? Passive learning. When you practice, it's good. When you practice it, when you put it on paper, if you are starting to solve those in mocks, that's where the gap starts to fall in. That's what I've been saying about it. That's something that we all have problems with. Keep practicing. Keep going, keep continuing. Right. So, since we have been talking a lot about PYQs and other stuff, PYQs are non-negotiables. Those are like, you buy a car, you buy the tires. You prepare for CAT, you prepare with PYQs. Now, imagine a car without tires or engine for that fact, PYQs are for CAT. PYQs are for any competitive exam, any entrance, national level, whatever it is, any entrance test that you are writing, any competitive exam that you are writing, the previous year paper sets the standard. That's where you start assessing and evaluating yourself. Right. So solve PYQs on a topical basis at the end of few topics. Consolidate a bunch of few topics, or go for time and work CAT PYQ questions. You will find a lot of websites segregating them on topical wise. Attack that. Or pick a paper, pick a sectional, focus only on those questions of that topic. You will have a question or two from that paper. See whether you are able to solve them. That's going to be the idea. That's where you start with. And as I told you, prioritize from 2017 to 2025. 17 to 21 as PYQs on a practice mode, and 22 to 25 will be actual mocks. 23, 24, 25 must. If you have bandwidth, take 22. But I think we already pointed out this one. And then revisit incorrect PYQs twice before moving forward. You make a mistake, see what is that mistake. And I'm pretty sure if you can get your hands on any PYQs here, you are certain to get them with text solutions and video solutions. You can go and see where it went wrong for you. Do not move forward without looking at what mistake it is. That's where you start getting your error log as well. Right. Mocks form the backbone of your CAT preparation. That's what I told you. It's the engine, it's the car, it's the tire to your car. Without these, they don't move forward. Without your backbone, you don't stand. Right. So this is a must. Once again, absolutely non-negotiables when it comes to PYQs. Right. A few more questions quickly. I think we'll wrap up after that. Physics nerd says, what do we need to do for profile building as science fresher, as we don't get direct internships and jobs? Hey nerd, this is something that you don't have to worry about today. Right. Whatever it is, slightly shift your focus towards your preparation. That's important. If you say, I am super confident about your preparation, start worrying about these things. Once again, all these will matter. Anything that you have asked now will matter only after your catch score. Keep them aside for the time. I'm not saying don't evade it completely. For the time, keep it a little aside. Focus on your preparation and then get back to that. Right? Quants is not improving because concepts are not clear. Attend classes, look at videos, take solutions, irrespective of where you can get your resource from. Dedicate your time and learn. Fill those gaps. Gap filling is more important than anything. It's a must. Saurabh is asking, very confident in arithmetic and algebra and all other module except geometry. How to improve in that? Slowly do it. If you are saying that you are comfortable with the other 4, you are already in an excellent spot. Now you are looking for backup. You are looking for that backup. Now people are struggling to get 4 tires on their car. You are worried about a Stephanie now, right? The spare wheel that you have in the back, are saying that's punctured. I'm telling you, you can go take it to the shop, get it punctured, get it repaired, and then you can fit it in. Even after getting it repaired, you don't need that immediately. Gradually, slowly start from all the basics of geometry. Get all your axioms, theorems, basic, all those properties, everything, similarity. Add one after the other gradually. You have enough time. You definitely have enough time. How much time does it take to master? Master what? You can never master anything. I haven't mastered. Experts in this place, with all humility, we say we don't call ourselves master. We call ourselves experts, but then we all have our weaknesses, right? There's absolutely nothing called masters. If we are masters, we get 22 questions, we should be able to solve 22 questions. Mastering specifically what strategy is a question that you might ask. So you might have to rephrase your question now on that. All right. How much experience, too much fear. Keep the fear aside, man. Aman, right? Keep it aside. Keep it aside. ERC sectional, yes. Okay. So in case for people who have been looking for, if you say that, hey, I might need some support, I might want to attend classes, learn better, cover all my gaps, learn my basics properly, establish my funda well. We have our Ignite Bash happening and it's going at a discounted price. Feel free to check out our website and it's valid till tomorrow. So it has been open for some time now. It's still there for one more day. Think about it. See if you are looking for a course, then jump onto it. On a finishing note, oops, I have no idea. Yes. Keep asking, keep growing. I don't know why this weirdly went that way. Keep asking, keep growing. You need to keep questioning yourself. You need to be curious. End of the day, you are preparing for an exam. You are preparing for a test. It's not a survival test. It is a test of mere ability, your cognitive ability, cognitive thinking. So your cognitive thinking gets better when you ask questions rather than answer questions. You need to understand that. So in that case, that was a very nice saying. I tell people this very often. This is one of my favorite sayings. In fact, this is a modified saying that I have. I tell people, if you have heard this, people say necessity is the mother of invention. And I come and tell you, curiosity is its father. So if you are looking at scores, if you are telling yourself, hey, this is my college, I want to go here, I want to end up here, aspirations are great. But when you prepare for the test, all those take the second seat and the primary focus falls on what am I going to learn? Why am I doing it this way? What is the logic behind it? Can I do this in some other format? Do I learn one more question on this? Do I need to add this? All those questions matter rather than that one simple question, what is my answer? So don't stop there. Every time you learn something, be curious. Man is a curious animal. Let's be curious. Let's start learning something better and it will take us to better places. Right? A couple of quick questions once again. Shiv Kumar says, due to college exam and practical exam, I temporarily stopped preparation and there is too much backlog. Shiv Kumar, you can catch up. But there are people who have lost track for 3 months and they have gotten back on track. This is definitely doable. It doesn't matter how long you have been out of track. You can still come back to the track and you can continue your sprint. forget about running it, you can still win. Might sound filmy, but doable. Right. Rudra, I just said this. My inputs on VARC aren't that great. I don't want to spoil those 15 questions that you get. You get 22 to 25 marks. For all you know, my strategies might pull it down. So, not the best person. You might probably talk to Vikrant sir, Juhi ma'am. They might have a few AMAs coming down. You can post questions over there. Get a proper idea on that. Rahul says, I purchased the MBA Elite Pro course, but I'm having difficulty understanding the data interpretation classes. Could you please help me with this? I have a Telegram channel. You can probably look into it. Check out my previous videos. You will see the QR codes over there. I forgot to add it over here. I could have probably added it here so that you could have scanned it. Check out my previous videos. You will see the Telegram channel over there. Join them. Join the group. Post your questions over there. I'll help you out in every possible way that I can. Right? And I'm a non-engineer student. Can I crack CAT? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is something that I keep telling people. Sorry. I keep telling people. In fact, I tell people engineers in fact have a disadvantage. They have a reputation to fill up for. A lot of times, ask any engineer here. They feel the same way that you do. I can point out to people here, engineers, who would be feeling the same way that you do. They feel like they are bit lost, not lost, bit heavily lost. Right? Do you have an advantage? I'm telling you, you can crack it. You are not at a disadvantage. I keep saying this. Just because someone has an advantage doesn't mean that you have a disadvantage. Remember that. When to start mocks? You can start your mocks from June. We usually tell your first mock should have happened in May, June. Starting from July, if you have already started your preparation, if you have learned, like if you have covered 3 to 4 topics, you are good to go to start your mocks. Start taking a mock a week from now. This is my strategy and I have seen that work for people, a lot of people that I tell. A lot of experts also say the same. Start giving 1 mock a week from now, from July. So you will be giving 4 mocks. From August, start giving 4 to 6 mocks. September and October, again, September will be another 4 to 6 mocks, 6 to 8 mocks. From October, 2 mocks a week. If you follow this, 4 in July, 6 in August, 8 in September, 10, 12 in October, and another 10 in November. You're looking at 25 mocks here solidly. And if you can get your hands on proper 25 mocks, 2 hours mocks, 4 hours analysis, 6 hours a mock, 150 hours if you have put in, there is no reason why it should falter. I don't see a reason at least. We don't see a reason why it would falter. So, mocks from now, yes. Where can I find sectional mocks for quants and PW app? Bhavesh, I might have to check with the team. I'm not sure about that either. I am finding my foot slowly in the app. It might take some time. Connect to the people, they'll be able to help you. Lastly, is it possible to prepare CAT 5 months and where to start? Rudra, visit this entire video again. Watch it from the beginning. That's exactly what the theme of the video was. The last 40 minutes, that's exactly what I was talking about. Watch the video completely from the beginning, you will know. Right? There is no syllabus. People, let's understand, CAT, if you decide on saying, I will complete the syllabus and start my mocks, you are never starting mocks. Never. I will even go to the extent of saying the first 4 to 5 mocks, your scores don't even matter. Imagine your first 5 mocks being the trials ball when you play street cricket. You get bowled, you can say trials. You get negative scores in the first 4-5 mocks, you can say, I was not ready. When are you ready? The moment when you get the gist of it, when you start feeling the comfort of taking the test is where your mock scores will start to matter. And that will definitely take some 5 mocks. And dump all those scores. Don't even look at the scores for that fact. Get the feeling of it. That's important. You cannot complete syllabus before taking mocks. There is no way you are doing it. Yes. Srishti, I think you probably joined late again. Once the video gets over, watch this entire video. It will tell you what to do. You will get to know that. Right? How frequently should we give mocks? 1 week, 1 mock a week from now. July and August will be 1 mock a week. Alright then. I think we are pretty much, I think I've answered almost every question here. So we'll sign off here. Thank you for being such a sport. Thank you for showing up, shooting your questions. It is always nice to hear out questions, answer your questions and make you feel better. Right? Any other questions? So we'll sign off. That's it for the day. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I'm really sorry I didn't bring the QRs for the Telegram channel, but then if you can flip down, see any other live videos in the group, in the YouTube channel now, jump to it. There are QR codes in all the videos, scan them. It will bring you to our channel where we can continue all our discussions. All banters and discussions are open over there. Okay, sure, definitely. Why not? All right then, folks. Thank you. Bring batch in August. I'll talk. I don't know. Aditya, I think I answered the question already. I think you missed it. No. The answer is no. Alright then, folks. Thank you. It was nice talking to you. Okay. How can I ping you? Bhavesh, you can send a message in the group. We'll reach out. Send a message in the Telegram group. We'll connect. Alright then. See you, folks. Thank you. It was nice connecting once again. We'll see you in the next session.